Welcome back, everybody. Keith again, Carolina Keith here. So let's progress along in our instructional video series for a bit here. I want to talk about some basic candle structure. I don't want to get too deep into it on this particular video. We'll have another video on that later. But what I do want you to understand is the basics of a candle, why they look the way they look, why they form the way they form, and what a simple candle means, one step at a time. All right, so it's important that we understand we're going to start on a high time frame here, and we're going to be on a monthly chart, but that doesn't matter. What I want you to understand is the candle is the candle no matter what the time frame is. All right, in crypto, they will be a little bit more hit and miss than in other places that are more mature, like particular stocks and bonds that have been around for hundreds of years. Those candles will be more well behaved. However, I want to show you some different examples here on a chart of what a candle looks like and how it works, so you can kind of get a better grasp on it. All right, so here we have a monthly chart and a monthly candle. Now this happens to be BAND, B-A-N-D versus USD, US dollar. Doesn't matter about any of that. More so it's what the information on the screen is that's being displayed. That's the important part. There are two parts to every candle, okay? Both of them are equally important. You'll hear arguments from people that say, oh, one part doesn't matter. I only care about this part. Or, well, that part only matters to these people. Let's remove all of that emotion. Again, the video that you saw prior to this was called No Emotions Trading, right? We don't have that. That's rule number one. No emotions allowed. Let's just stick to the data. Two parts to a candle. Let's go over them now. First part, the very large part you see right here is the candle body. By the way, why do we even call them candles? Well, if you kind of look at a candle, in real life, it's a big piece of wax with a little bit of wick on top that you would light on fire, right? Well, don't tell me that doesn't look similar. A piece of wax with a wick on the top that you would light on fire, hence why they're called candlesticks. The first part is the candle body, which is this very large red portion you see right here. And I've even highlighted it in the yellow. This is the body of the candle, meaning that is the during this month high and low when it opened and closed. Now, what about the rest of it? This is important first to understand. This was the opening and the closing. Particularly, this candle is red. Why is it red? Well, as you see right there in the writing, when the candle is red, that means it closed lower than it opened. By that I mean, I'll draw on the chart here for you. You can see, right here is where this candle started. On May of 2021, this candle started here. Unfortunately for that month, it was pretty bad, wasn't it? And the candle fell all the way to here when it closed at the end of the month. So on the 1st, it started here, and at the end of May, that's 31 days, bad news, it closed lower than it opened. This caused the candle to turn red. Now, for a green candle, which is what you see to the left here, this candle it opened here at this level and closed at this level, or it closed higher than it opened. That forms a green candle and tells us why it's green and why it's red. The candle body is crucial because we're going to use the candle bodies to mark support and resistance along the way. And you're going to see support and resistance in a future video here on the instructional video list that shows you how to mark support and resistance. And I kind of say that in the video. Now, warning, that video is old. So it's a little older in the time, and I go and drag on kind of. These are going to be quicker videos. So we're going to mark our support and resistance most of the time with our candle bodies. And we're going to mark them where they're flat, where they stop and reverse using candle bodies. Now, the next part is the candle wicks. The candle wicks are the absolute high and the absolute low of whatever time frame it happens to be that you're looking at. Whether that's a monthly, a minute chart, a 5-second chart, doesn't matter. The wick shows you to the absolute high price of that time frame and the absolute low. This is important as well because we'll also use the wicks in trend analysis. We'll need these wicks to be able to find where our trend lines are touching and failing. Also, whenever we're drawing support and resistance, you will see that while you get most of your hits on a support and resistance line via the candle bodies, you'll notice that many times over, you see a candle that has a wick touch a trend line, or a wick touch a support and resistance line. So it's important to understand that at that time the trading is happening, it's recognizing that line, and that line becomes a little bit more understood and a little bit more strong based on the fact that you drew it there. And not only are the candle bodies hitting it, but the candle wicks are just the same. All right, so the wicks help us identify a couple things as well. What you see here on the screen that I have drawn is some basic buy pressure. This candle started very high. In fact, it started way up here. However, things turned bad very quickly for this particular asset, and it fell very far. It fell all the way from a high wick of $20.58 all the way down to $5.22 in 1 month. That's about a 75% reduction in value, isn't it? It's pretty bad. So it's important to understand that there was something at the bottom of this candle that gave us a little bit of a hint of what might happen on the next one. Whenever you see a very large wick on the bottom, it represents buy pressure. A very large wick on the top represents sell pressure, just like you had on this candle right here. A very large wick on this candle right here, showing a lot of sell pressure. So even though the buying was happening, sellers were still saying in the back of their heads, hey, by the way, we're still over here. We haven't left yet. And you see the chart kind of rebalance based on that. You had a ton of sell pressure on the top, which then resulted in the chart eventually rolling over and falling. Now, a good rule of thumb, if the wick on the bottom is longer than the candle body, and in this situation it's not, let's measure that. This candle wick is 70%. That's pretty darn big. This candle body, 94%. So the wick on the bottom isn't as large as the candle body. This tells us we have good buy pressure, not, oh my God, amazing buy pressure. The more you have in comparison to the candle body, be that buy pressure or sell pressure, the more of an indication you get as to what's about to happen. Now, we have some buy pressure here, but we don't have a ton. So this lets us know that while we do have some buy pressure, it may not be enough to pull this thing out of the perpetual cycle of bad that it may fall into. That's buy pressure and sell pressure. Now let's roll this chart a little bit here and watch it play out in person. I'll remove this drawing so it's not up here anymore. We're just looking at the chart here. We'll watch. This is in replay mode. If you click replay up here on any one of these assets, not all of them will work, but most of them will. You click replay, you drag it back to where you want it to start, you click it, it'll erase the chart for you, and you click the play button right here and off it goes. It'll start replaying it like it actually happened. We'll let this play a bit. By the way, we can go ahead and draw some support and resistance here, which you'll see in a new video and another video coming up in the future. Like I said, you see that this wick kind of came down here and slapped this line, tested support. We'll let it play. This next candle's forming up, hasn't quite finished yet, bouncing around a bit, way under. Oh no, that's not good, is it? Blowing through support is never good. Now we had some buy pressure on this one as well. Again, not larger than the candle body, but some buy pressure nonetheless, which tells us it may be a slower fall, not a, oh my God, dump. By the way, you'll never hear me say the words dump or pump. I just don't really care for those. All right, this chart tries to rebound. Let me speed this up a little bit here. And then it doesn't look so great. Buy pressure coming through here, doesn't it? Bouncing off of support, isn't it? Very nice. Let's give it a little bit of time here and see what happens, though. Ugh, not great. Now you're starting to see some more bearish stuff happen. A little bit bullish stuff happen. A little bit more bearish stuff happening. This gives me an interesting time to tell you about a few different candle types. I'm not going to go over all of them. That'll take a ton of time, but I will explain some to you. This particular candle you see right here is a doji candle. A doji candle has a very small body with very large wicks on the top and the bottom. When you see a doji candle, it's a sign of reversal. This particular candle right here, red one, after this green one, is a bearish reversal candle. Whenever you see a very large candle like this form, it takes up 75% or more of the body of the previous candle. That's an engulfing candle. And here you see engulfing. This is bearish engulfing. Right shortly after that, you saw bullish engulfing, didn't you? That's right. Very good. You could also call these candles tweezers. In other words, that it may fail and pinch and drop. And that's exactly what happened here. It's a sign of reversal, and it reversed. There are more of them over here. You could call this candle a hammer candle because it's very large body and good, but not a very large body, a small body and a very large wick on the bottom, especially at the bottom of a run. That's called a hammer candle. And when you see a hammer candle, it tends to mean the price goes up, but not always. You had more bearish engulfing than bullish engulfing than bearish engulfing, all bad and all under the original fall, which means it was a lower high. In the trend analysis video that you're going to see, you'll see that that's not good as well. And this all contributed to the knowing of what was going to happen before it ever happened. Let's let it play a bit more here. Let the example play out. Here you see it again, fell under support again, tested the bottom of support with this wick again, and keeps going. Yep, obviously not great, still falling. Now we're into April of 2022. That's more recent, more fall. Oh no. It's almost as though we could see this coming though, couldn't we? Exactly. And then you get nothing but a lot of down, a lot of down, a lot of down. And then the chart stops. Now we're all caught up. This is a relatively short chart, and I didn't want to get hyper technical with you on this. The whole point was just to show you some basic candle structure of how it works and how you use it. You'll use this to draw support and resistance lines in a later video. We'll go over this same thing when we do trend analysis in the next video. That next video will be very important because we're going to put this together with candles, with support and resistance. It'll all come together and you'll kind of see it all form up together and help you make a better, more realistic decision on what you're doing. All right, so I want to thank everybody for watching. The link for our Discord and our launch pass will be at the bottom of this video. We talk about this stuff nonstop in our Discord 24/7, 365 days a week. We're always talking about charts and charts alone. You want to learn, you want to get better, you want people to bounce ideas off of. You're not sure, you're unsure about things. Hey, we have a whole group of people who are doing the same thing you're doing, trying to get better at this stuff. You can get better by clicking down there and finding the Discord link at the bottom. We're happy to help out everyone that we can. More people, the better. The more ideas we have, the more brains we have, the better decisions we make. However, that's it for me for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next instructional video. Everybody be good. I'll see you later. Peace.